When greed paves the way for betrayal, scheming and murder, a young tribal reluctantly dons the traditions of his ancestors to seek justice, depicting supreme god Vishnu's third incarnation on earth called Varha Avatar. The forest tribal community devote to Varha and considers Bhutha Kola, divine dance of coastal Karnataka, performer to Rudra, Lord Shiva, who is gatekeeper of the community and protects every devotee of Lord Varha from evil spirits, living/dead. A promise of ancestors is under threat to be breached by people over lust of materialistic gains, where the ancient king had made deal with demigods as bargain for his peace. With such powerful storyline, excellent performance by every actor keeping raw background showing beautiful traditional practices of coastal Karnataka in an ultimate showdown of good versus evil. In 1847, a king is happily living with his family in empire, but what he does not have is peace and goes to search it at various places. He comes to a tribal village where he sees Diva, which could offer him peace, but he has to give some forest land to the tribal people in order to seek peace. The king agrees, but the tribals warn him that Diva's family will follow their deity, and if anyone goes back from their word it will lead to wrath. Many years later in 1970, the village is living as per the word of the king by performing Bhutha Kola festival, where the deity turns a temporary god and tries to solve village problems, but the current successor of the king has become greedy and wants the land back. In 1990, 20 more years later, it's revealed that the king's successor who tried to take the land back died a mysterious death. Shiva, a troublesome villager, is the current successor of Bhutha Kola, but refuses to do it since 20 years back he saw his father disappear while doing the act. Murali, a forest officer, tries to convey that the village land comes under forest and anyone objecting and breaking rules will face the brunt, while he also objects to Kola festival. But Shiva, who works for Sahib, current successor of the king, objects to Murali and a rift is created between the two. While Murali and Shiva are thirsty for each other's blood, they realize a shocking truth that they all are scapegoats in a plan. In 1800s, a king trades his forest land to a demigod for peace of mind. The demigod gives the land to the tribals and warns the king that should he or his descendants seek to get the lands back there would be disastrous consequences. Q 1990, and there's conflict between government, landowners, descendants and tribal over the ownership of forests. Myth and reality conflate to yield a rousing resolution. In 1847, there lived a king, Vinay Bidappa, that had a great kingdom as well as a loving wife, Pragathi Rishabh Shetty, and child, but could not find peace. He sets out on a journey to discover true happiness and comes upon a stone in a forest occupied by Panjurli Diva, a deity that protects the villagers that reside in the forest. He donates vast amounts of his land to the villagers in exchange for taking the stone with him. Panjurli warns the king that his family and successors should keep their word and not reclaim the land, which will incur the wrath of Panjurli's companion, the ferocious Gulaga Diva. In 1970, the king's successor asks a Bhutha Kola performer, who is possessed by Panjurli, to make the locals hand over the land to him, which the performer refuses and states he will die vomiting blood if he tries to. The successor now lives in the city and knows that the value of the land has increased multifold. He needs money to reclaim his lost royal status and lifestyle. The successor raises doubt on performer's possession by Panjurli, to which the performer replies he would vanish if he is possessed, after which he runs into the forest and is indeed never seen again. As warned, the king's successor dies mysteriously, vomiting blood a few months later on the steps of the court, where he was going to argue the land case. In 1990, Murali Kishore, a forest officer, is tasked with converting the